Hi everyone, today in this video I wanted to talk about eyeliners. So the concept of eyeliner is kind of daunting for some people. I think the most popular eyeliner design is the winged liner. Everyone has seen this. Maybe they know the term cat eye and maybe they don't. But they know what it looks like. And typically it is a liquid liner or gel that goes from one corner of the eye and flicks out to the outer corner. Now, like I said, you can use a liquid, a felt tip, or a brush tip, pen form usually, or marker type. You can use a gel liner. You can also use a pencil, a kohl pencil, pretty much anything. Caked eyeliners, either in this square form or in a little jar, and any of those will work. Any of those will do that same design. They can be different colors. They can be black, brown, purples, blues, pretty much any color, but typically the most popular or well-known are black and brown. So that is the most popular, and when people think of eyeliner, they think of the winged cat eye. Well, that doesn't look great on every eye shape and on every person, and a lot of women struggle with that technique. And this video is basically trying to explain how it's not always beneficial to follow trends or to follow what maybe your girlfriend or a YouTube tutorial or maybe a model you see on Instagram. You can't always follow those. What they do may not flatter your eye shape and your face. Not only that, but maybe it does flatter you, but you simply cannot master the technique. It's not for not trying, and we always want to make sure that you do try something new, but at the same time, if you're really struggling with it, the frustration is going to take away from that joy. And I want to make sure that you always enjoy the process of getting ready and doing your face and trying different colors and textures and formulations and all of that. So I'm going to break things down. I have some notes just because I don't want to forget everything. I will insert photos in between as I speak, and then also at the end some examples of eye shapes and styles, colors, and that sort of thing. So you'll have some visuals as I'm talking. So I went over the cat or winged eye. For example, on my eyes, I have what I call, and I have to look in the screen. So I have very small eye real estate, I call it. So the space behind my eye, as I close my eyes, now the design of my eye today allows for some shadowing, which allows my hooded eyes to have a little more dimension. But if I close my eyes, there is very little mobile lid space. That means the eyelid that moves up and down. It's very small. And I also have very small eyes. This eye is even smaller than this eye. So when I open my eyes, now today I showed you, well, I didn't, you're gonna see it, but it was intentional. What I did today was aligned my upper mobile lid with a shadow. Now, a shadow is the easiest, in my opinion, way to experiment with this concept of lining your upper mobile lid. So I use a shadow. I have used gels before. I have used liquid eyeliners. In high school, I was always using a liquid eyeliner. And I look back and I have no dimension to my eye at all, but you can see, and I use like the white eyeshadow and then the winged. I don't know what I was thinking, but anyway, we learn, we improve, right? So I've used the liquid too. And what happens is when I do a winged liner and I start from the inner corner all the way to the outer corner, when my eye is open, all you see is black. And Unless I pull my eyeshadow all the way up like I have today, all you see behind my eye is just black. It doesn't allow for any sort of dimension, no definition to my eye at all. And when my eye is open, it makes, because all you see is black, it makes my eyes look very squinty and very small. And I want some definition to my eyes. I want it to look like you can see the shadow work. What's the point of doing the work if you can't see it, right? Obviously, when I close my eyes, you can see the work behind them. And the way I pulled the shadow up into the crease, highlighted the brow bone, you can see some definition and work there. However, I don't know if you can tell, yeah. So I take the line of the shadow. I didn't start all the way in the inner corner. Again, that also closes it out. I want this inner corner to be as bright as possible. So I don't want to bring in the black all the way to the inner corner. Now keep in mind, each one of your eyes is going to be different. Your eyes are going to curve differently from one to the next, excuse me. So your eyes are going to curve from one to the next. That's why it's so difficult for some people to get their winged liner correct. You do a little here, and then you need to go on this side, and then you need to adjust this side, and then you go back to this side. And there are plenty of running jokes where they say, you know, I wanted the eyes to look like this, and by the end of it, you have this big smudgy raccoon eye. We've all been there. We've all made those mistakes. So what I did today was just with shadow, and I used an angle brush, and I made sure that I stayed as close to the lash line as possible, and I pulled it out to the corner. Now, I didn't leave a tail like you would typically see with a liquid liner. What I did was pull the shadow out, and then after I was done with that, I took a smudging brush and I pulled the shadow in toward the eye and created an outer V. That allows the shape of my eye to be pulled outwards in the same shape that a cat eye would be, but it's a lot more flattering for my eye shape and my preference. So when you look at my eyes, the eye is pulled out. Obviously, I favor this eye. That's why I'm going to use it for examples, okay? So when you see the shape of my eye, it's pulled up and out. And especially as we age into our 30s, 40s, and beyond, we want to pull everything up and out. So the concealer goes up and out. I also do my eye work before I clean up under the eyes and then before I put the concealer on. So I used a shadow today. You can use the same technique with any type of liner. The only difference is if you want to smudge out your outer corner, it's easier to do that with a shadow. It's much more difficult if you're using a cake or gel liner or a liquid, okay? But again, you could still do the same technique and then just stop at the outer corner and then take a shadow on the outer corner and bring it inward. So you could still do a combination of both. Now this eye is smaller than this eye. This eye curves differently than this eye, and this eye pretty much never gonna look the same as this one. It just isn't, and that's okay. I've embraced it, all right? But you can tell sometimes you can see more of the lighter color. Sometimes it doesn't look as defined. The lashes on this eye curl differently than this eye. So we all have that, and I want you to remember that when you struggle with your liners and with your eyeshadows and things like that. Don't get discouraged. Accept that they are not going to be the same and just do your best. Eyebrows are the same way. You can kill yourself trying to get them both the same. Less is more. Stop before you want to throw something at the bathroom mirror and just move on, okay? So we want to make sure that you understand the eye shape that you have and what flatters your eye shape. Some have hooded eyes, some have deep set eyes, and some have a sort of in between. There are round eyes, almond shape, eyes that are very small, close set, wider set eyes, eyes that don't have any lid at all. And so we want to make sure that you're choosing, I say we, as in community, you and I, we, me and you, want to make sure that you're doing any technique that flatters your face shape. Now, one thing I did want to mention is, besides the fact that we see these techniques on, various social media, YouTube, you can Google images, all day and all night, on Pinterest and Twitter and all of that. Celebrities, we don't have the face of a celebrity. We don't have, an eye just like whoever that you happen to be looking at. And that's okay. But when a makeup artist shows you multiple clients and they show you the same eyeshadow technique and the same eyeliner technique on almost every one of their clients, I want you to pay attention to that. They also, some of them, the ones that I'm talking about, use the same false eyelashes, the same wing liner, and the same eyeshadow placement, if not the same actual colors on every single client. When I see that and I notice it, it doesn't sit well with me, because not everyone has the same face shape. Not everyone has the same coloring. Not everyone has the same eye shape. So it really bothers me when I see makeup artists doing the same look. And I've talked about this in other videos, where it's perfectly fine for any stylist or makeup artist or any professional really to have perfected a certain type of technique or signature look that they're known for. That's totally fine. However, each one of our clients is an individual with their own unique attributes, their own unique positive and, positive qualities and flaws. And our job as makeup artists is to bring out those positive qualities and minimize the flaws. If we do the same look on every single client, then all of our portfolio looks the same, number one. And number two, what worked on, the client right before you may not suit you best. But if that's all I know how to do, then that's all I know how to do. So, and that also gives you the impression as you go home to think you need to recreate that same look. And maybe that's not a look that you like. Maybe it's a look that you really struggle with. So if it gets to that point, I make sure that my clients that look, this is what I can do for you, and I can do my best to show you how to do it. If it's not your preference, number one, I won't let you leave if you're not happy with it. But also, if it's just something that you love, maybe that I've done, but you're not going to do it on a regular basis, it's just not a sustainable technique for you, then I'm going to do something to make sure you have the techniques for something that's a little more manageable for you. I really want to make sure that clients don't feel like it has to be all or nothing.